This video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Now, Raid Shadow Legends is an awesome RPG game that's on the PC or mobile. And remember, you can use my links down below right now to join Raid Shadow Legends with me and play this awesome game. There are a ton of different cool bosses in Raid Shadow Legends, but this month, Raid is bringing the latest addition to its huge boss roster. And oh my god, this boss is crazy and one of the scariest yet, the Hydra. This thing is insane, one of the ultimate beasts. A superpowered clan boss that's like many bosses rolled into one. It's got multiple different heads. It is a Hydra, and each one has unique mechanics. It can share the pain and push damage from itself onto your team. It can scare your champions, rot them from the inside, cloak itself in a cloud of poison, and a ton more crazy things. But if you can cut off its head, it'll expose its neck, and it's open season. You can deal out some insane damage before it grows back a new head. The whole battle was like a crazy tactical puzzle box, always revealing new challenges, even in the middle of a fight. This thing is definitely one of the toughest fights in the game, but it's absolutely worth it because it can get you some of the best artifacts around. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to take this thing down, but I'm having a ton of fun testing things out and experimenting with new strategies. Now, what I love about Raid Shadow Legends is just how easy it is to get in. When I first started playing the game, I didn't think it would be easy because I'm not super tech savvy, but it's so simple to get started. Also, there's tons and tons of cool champions, PvP arenas where you can play with your friends, and on top of that, there's a ton of cool collectibles that you can get just by playing the game each day. Now, we've talked about a ton of different things, but I know you're wondering what's new in Raid. Oh my god. And now if this big bad Hydra boss isn't enough for you, there's plenty more. Raid's also giving away a super limited edition champion to every player in the game. Some of you may recognize him already. It's esports legend and Navi superstar Simple. Between now and January 28th, 2022, Simple's limited edition champ is available for free to both new and old players in Raid. All you have to do is log in for 7 days between now and January 28th, and he's yours. If you miss that date, you miss out forever. And he's awesome, so you definitely don't want to wait around. And on top of that, it's the holidays, so Raid's got a full schedule of festive activities with special events and tournaments, and even some new fusion events to help you add some of the Raid's incredible festive champions to your collection. There's not been a better time to get started, so hit that link in the description or scan my QR code that's on screen, and you'll get an epic champion Tyrell, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, and 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient sword so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in game. All of this treasure will be waiting for you here, right in this inbox. And it's just that easy. Just click the link in the description and I'll see you in the game. Something that has been discussed and is often used to have a rebuttal against Kaido living is how the story could possibly go on with Kaido still alive. Now, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, Kaido dying is something that a ton of people have expected, and I'm one of those people. I honestly, for a long time, couldn't think of a possible way in which Kaido could possibly go on being in the story. He just needed to die. He was irredeemable. But my mindset has started to change. Today, I want to try to come to you guys with some clarification on something that a lot of people can't seem to figure out. How does Kaido make it out of Wano without dying? How does the One Piece story go on? But before we get into today's video, of course, if you like videos like this where I discuss these what if scenarios, then make sure that you hit that like button. And also, if you want more content like this where I talk about what ifs and theories, make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications. Let's get into the video. So today I present 3 scenarios to you guys in which Kaido could possibly make it out of Wano without dying. Now, there are a lot of people that have that question. None more than those that believe in GKK or Zoro killing Kaido. Most of the time when I have these discussions with my friends who believe in that theory, that's the main rebuttal they have for anyone that's against it. Well, how does Kaido live? Explain that. I'm gonna try. So in chapter 1035, and this is what I'm going to use for the first what if scenario of Kaido living, there was a small bit of dialogue and a small backstory or flashback, I guess is a better way of saying it, that happened between King and Kaido. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful piece of dialogue and it created an awesome dynamic. I'll explain. King and Zoro have been fighting in this chapter and they're going back and forth, both explaining to each other that the other one would lose, they would win, and why. But something that both parties seem to bring up and to talk about is that their captain would be the king of the pirates. This is something that we've seen throughout the story. Enemies will be fighting the Straw Hats and constantly the Straw Hats will push that fact out. My captain will be king of the pirates. And we always just listen to what they're saying and we never think of the other dynamic because we're thinking from the perspective of the main character and his crew being the good guys. The good guy dynamic is something in fiction that happens often. When we have a character or a group that are the main characters, the good guys, they are in fact the individuals who we look to push the story forward. So we don't often pay attention to the opposition. And because of this, when the opposition talks about how their captains will be the king of the pirates, we always laugh it off. We just don't believe it. In our minds, Luffy is the king of the pirates. But in this chapter, for the first time in the entire story, my mind shifted some. And for once, I looked at the dynamic of the villains, of the opposition. King and Kaido had this flashback where they were at this research facility. Now, of course, they plan on escaping and Kaido's talking to King and he asked him if he wanted to join him. What will you do? He asked. And King, Abel, Alberto, Arby's, whatever you want to call him, he responds and he says, well, will you be able to change the world? And Kaido says, I'm the only one that can. And when this small piece of dialogue happened for the first time, I saw that they just believe in their captains, just how the Straw Hats believe in Luffy, that King and Zoro are alike in this way. And for the first time, I seen some human characterization within King and redeemable qualities of Kaido and him. So in my first scenario, even though it's a bit of a reach, especially until I see Kaido's backstory and get more characterization on him, what if Oda tries to redeem Kaido and some of the Beast Pirates? I know a lot of times when we bring up Kaido being redeemed, it's something that people really don't think of too often because Kaido is a vile person. And I get that. I understand wholeheartedly. But after this dialogue between King and Zoro, I started to see a different side of Kaido. Through conversations that Kaido has had with Yamato, I've also seen different sides of Kaido. I'm starting to see a pattern here, something that Oda seems to be trying to sprinkle into the writing, which makes me believe there might be a possibility in a scenario in which Kaido gets redeemed. Now, I don't think that this means Kaido's going to be a good guy. This doesn't mean that Kaido's going to join the Straw Hats. No, when I say redeemed, I mean us from our perspective as the viewer, we will see Kaido and believe that there's a way that this guy could actually be in the story and us have an inkling of sympathy for him. So in this first scenario, Kaido won't die because he'll still be relevant in the story. There's a way for him to be redeemed to us. And even though it's far-fetched, it would have to be in a situation in which Luffy could get through to him and he would have to leave Wano. And I know that it seems impossible for everyone. Everyone always says that Kaido's not just going to get up and leave. He's not going to just leave, and he may not, and it's most likely that he wouldn't. But if Oda keeps going down this path of having these moments where we feel some sort of sympathy for Kaido and King and Jack and Queen, and I don't know. And yes, not all the Beast Pirates could possibly be redeemed. Some of them, like Queen, are too vile, you know, like they're too terrible. Plus Queen is somewhere in another manga right now. Like he got blasted by Sanji. He's in Naruto or something. I don't know, but that was my first scenario. My second one is a little bit more wild. Shout out to one of my homies, Trip. Y'all might know him from my streams. A lot of y'all don't like Trip, but he is a good guy, man. That's my guy. And he had an interesting theory. He had a theory in which Kaido doesn't die, but gets defeated and gets taken out of the story. So hear me out. We should know, in his words, from Whole Cake Island, that Mont Dior, or Mont Dior, whatever you want to call him, can put people in his book dimension that have more haki than him. Because this is the first rebuttal people are going to say, especially since Law couldn't move Big Mom and Kaido, but Whole Cake Luffy must have had way more haki than Mont Dior, and he still put Luffy in this book. Now, I guess, you know, from me saying that, you can see where this is going. Big Mom has 3 races in her books that are missing. A lot of people think Lunarian is one of them, which may be why she's interested in King. We know that Giant is one of them. And the other one that most people think is missing is Oni. Now, because of these speculations, we're like, okay, King's a Lunarian. The Giants will probably be an Elbaf and Kaido is an Oni. So when the Beast Pirates get defeated, people think that it's a possibility that Mont Dior since he is here with the Big Mom Pirates, instead of Kaido dying when he is defeated from Luffy, Montdor could put Kaido and King inside of his book dimension to keep for Big Mom. Now, this kills two birds with one stone. This gets rid of this rivalry and situation that Big Mom and Kaido have. It also keeps Kaido with Big Mom, you know, as Big Mom being his big sis, and it gets rid of Kaido from the story without killing him because Oda does not like to kill. This also keeps Kaido in the book, so if Oda needed Kaido and King for the story later down the line in the final war or wherever, there's a way for them to re-enter the story that makes sense. He doesn't have to will of P them, kill them, and then have them just be alive. They could be in Montdor's book and they could come out of Montdor's book at such a time where Oda needed them to be. Now, I know this theory is crazy, but I had to bring this up because Trip, I love this theory. We discussed this theory, we broke it down, we talked together through this theory, created this theory together, and talked about why this theory made sense, why it would be cool for the story, and why narratively it makes sense. I think the biggest piece of information that makes this theory awesome is that this is a way for Oda to get rid of them now and to bring them back if he needs to later. And in this last scenario, this is one that I kind of thought of and made up a little theory for you guys. I know I don't theorize too often now, but we know that Doflamingo, Don Quixote, is somebody that was very important to Kaido as his Joker. Somebody that had information that Kaido wanted and he saw valuable. Because of this, Jack risked his life to try to get Doflamingo back in the midst of a former fleet admiral and an admiral. That alone lets me know how important Doflamingo was to Kaido. And we know from Jack's reaction to Kaido and Carrie that he loves and respects Kaido, but he is afraid of Kaido. That respect might come from fear. He was afraid when he saw Kaido in his dragon form. And we don't see Jack the Drought too afraid of people. Again, this is somebody that went and pulled up on 2 admiral level threats, but he was afraid of Kaido. Keep that in mind. With that being said, that should let us know how important Doffy was to Kaido. So if Kaido gets defeated, what if he does let himself get captured? This chapter, chapter 1035, lets us know that even when Kaido is captured, he can leave pretty much when he wants to. That's what happened in this chapter. He was in a research facility. Him and King just willy-nilly left. They destroyed the faculty and they left when they felt like it, which means that he can go pretty much wherever he wants and get out. Also, we know that Luffy has been to Impel Down and escaped. I believe it's a possibility that Kaido could let himself be captured, so he is out of the story, out of Wano, and this is the way that Doflamingo Don Quixote gets back in this story. Kaido could let himself be captured, go to Impel Down, and escape Impel Down while taking Doffy. This is also a way for us to revisit Impel Down. This is also a way for Bon Clay to get out of Impel Down, because I know that is something that needs to happen as well. Bon Clay does not deserve to be in there, in my opinion. This is a way for him to get out while the commotion is there. I truly believe that this is a possibility. All of these possibilities are possible in my opinion. The one about Kaido being redeemed is one I thought was cool, but it's less possible than these other two. The Montdor theory is wild and a little bit less possible than this last situation, but I think Kaido being captured to go to Impel Down on purpose and getting Doflamingo out of Impel Down makes a ton of sense. Doflamingo has too much relevance in the story. He knows too much about the Celestial Dragons, which to me means he needs to be in the story in the future. Of course, these are just 3 scenarios that I'm bringing to you in which Kaido doesn't have to die, but I want to hear from you. Do you think Kaido has to die? And if not, what are your what if scenarios on him living? Also, make sure that you go to my Discord. It's in my pinned comment, and follow me on Twitter. That's there as well. And as always, I hope you all are staying safe and healthy during these trying times. This has been Synsei Inc., and I will see you all in the next video.